The Dead Rising. On Halloween night, three friends learn the story of Mercy Brown, a real-life vampire, inspired by a true story by Justin O'Neill. Exeter, Rhode Island, Halloween 2013. Three friends ring a doorbell. An elderly lady opens the door. "Trick or treat!" "Well, aren't you all adorable? Ooh, a spooky vampire. What a handsome ghoul you are." "Thanks, ma'am." "And what are you, missy? Some kind of disco dancer? Singer?" 1980s pop star." "And oh boy, it's the Iron Man." Just Iron Man, actually." "You can each take one piece of bubble gum, okay? Don't stay out too late." "Thanks." The friends walk back to the street. One piece of gum? Seriously? They watch as a mother drags a screaming toddler dressed as a pumpkin to the next house. This is totally lame. "Want to go see a movie?" "Sure, yeah. Looks like rain anyway." They hear a distant rumble of thunder. Walking ahead of them is a teenage girl in a plain white dress. As the thunder sounds, the girl drops something shiny onto the sidewalk. Amy picks it up. It is a silver bracelet with a single charm, the letter L. "Hey, you dropped your bracelet." The girl turns around. She has very pale skin, black hair, and deep blue eyes. Amy hands her the bracelet. "Thank you. I like your costumes." Thanks. I'm Ben, and this is Amy and Rob. My name is Lena." "Are you from Exeter? I don't recognize you." "I've lived here forever." "So what's your costume?" "I'm Mercy Brown." "Who?" "She lived here more than 100 years ago, and she was a vampire. At least some people thought so." "A vampire? You mean like Ben?" Amy smiles and tugs on Ben's vampire cape. "No. It was said that Mercy's spirit rose from the dead to feast on the living." "Gross." "She's buried here in town. In fact, I'm on my way to visit her grave. Do you want to come along?" "Well, actually, we're going to a movie." "Oh, come on, Rob. This is way more fun." "It'll be a Halloween adventure." "But the cemetery's not far." "Fine. Okay." Lena leads the way. "So, Lena, tell us the story of Mercy Brown." It happened in 1892. Exeter was much smaller then and very isolated. The Brown family lived on a humble but beautiful farm. Their lives had been filled with tragedy. Scene 2, Exeter, January 1892. Mercy Brown, 19, lies in bed, shivering and sweating. She coughs violently into a handkerchief that is red with blood. George, Mercy's father, stands across the room with Dr. Metcalf. "There's really nothing you can do, doctor?" "There's no cure for consumption. Even the cause is debated." "Yes, I know. That's what they told me a decade ago when consumption claimed my wife, and again months later when it claimed my eldest daughter. Doctor, what have I done to deserve this?" "I offer my deepest condolences." "She's so frail. Her body has wasted away." "Your son, Edwin, how is his health?" "More sorrow. His consumption has only gotten worse. Oh, doctor, what will I do?" Scene 3, Exeter, Halloween, 2013. Mercy died later that night. What's consumption anyway? I already Googled it. As they listen to Rob read from his phone, the friends continue to follow Lena. The night has grown dark and misty. Consumption is now known as tuberculosis. The disease is caused by bacterium that usually attacks the lungs. Highly contagious, it was once the leading cause of death in the United States, responsible for nearly a quarter of all deaths By 1800, scientists discovered the bacterium in 1882, but news was slow to reach rural areas. So the cause was known, but they hadn't heard about it in Exeter? Well, it says here a cure wasn't developed until the 1940s. So knowing the cause wouldn't have done Mercy any good. So wait, what do vampires have to do with... Mercy's body was placed in the family crypt until spring because the frozen ground made digging a grave impossible. Meanwhile, it seemed that Edwin was soon to follow his sister. Scene 4, Exeter, March 1892. George sits by his son's bed. Edwin's cough is bad. My only son. There is a knock on the front door. George wipes away tears and greets his guest. Edwin listens through the wall from his bedroom. My dear George, how are you? How is young Edwin? We've all been praying for him. We still mourn the loss of Mercy. Thank you, friends. Please come in. They are in George's sitting room. It's gloomy and dusty and doesn't appear to get much use. It's nice to see you all. I rarely have guests. George, we've come to discuss something. We feel so sorry for your family. Consumption is a scourge. Let's not give up hope for Edwin. Have you considered alternative treatments? Alternative treatments? You see, George, some in town believe that Edwin's sickness is caused by certain, spirits. Spirits? Evil spirits of the dead come to feast on the blood and flesh of the living. That's absurd. There is a very old remedy that we believe could save Edwin. What sort of remedy? They whisper. Edwin only hears a few words. Body, blood, fire, drink. When they finish, George stands abruptly. Leave my home, now. Oh, George, please. How dare you propose such a thing? It's your only chance. What have you got to lose? Your refusal puts the whole town at risk. Out! The townspeople leave and George returns to Edwin's bedside. Father, I heard something about a remedy. What did they say? George whispers into his son's ear. What if it works? You're not suggesting... It's horrible, I know. What if it works? Father and son talk late into the night. Scene 5, Exeter, Halloween, 2013. Wait! What was the remedy? It must have been something awful. We are here. The friends hadn't even noticed they had reached the gates of Chestnut Hill Cemetery. A white church stands among many old, cracked tombstones. I forgot how creepy this place is. Duh, it's a cemetery. So what happened? Reluctantly, George and Edwin agreed to go through with what the townspeople proposed, but neither would be present for the ritual, which took place on a cold night right here in this very spot. Scene 6, Chestnut Hill Cemetery, March 17, 1892. Lit by candles, the townspeople huddled around two coffins, those of Mercy's mother and sister. They have just dug up the coffins. Dr. Metcalf opens the lids and peers inside. A foul stench fills the air. Nothing but bones and dust. We must check Mercy. She's still in the crypt. Two men open the crypt and pull out Mercy's coffin. Dr. Metcalf lifts the lid. She hasn't rotted a bit. Her position has changed. She's been moving. Check the organs. Dr. Metcalf takes a scalpel from his medical bag. He cuts open the corpse and removes the heart and the liver. If there's blood, we'll know for sure. Cut open the heart! Dr. Metcalf slices into Mercy's heart. Oh dear, blood. So it's true! It's true! Mercy rose from death to feed on her brother. The townspeople light a fire on a nearby stone and place the heart and liver into the flames. Burn! Burn! They watch as the dead flesh disintegrates, their wild faces lit by the orange blaze. Kill the spirit! Burn the organs! Collect the remains. We will mix them with water and feed them to the boy. Edwin will drink the ashes of his sister's organs if he wants to live. Scene 7. Chestnut Hill Cemetery, Halloween, 2013. Oh, I think I may be sick. You ate too many candy bars. Mercy had been dead only a few months. That's why there was still blood in her heart, and the cold weather probably slowed decomposition. Thanks, Dr. Metcalf. There it is. Mercy's grave is covered with offerings, flowers, notes, candies. What happened to Edwin? Did he drink the ashes? He did, but still he died less than 2 months later. His grave is right here, next to his sister's. Scene 8, Chestnut Hill Cemetery, May 1892. Dr. Metcalf and George stand by Edwin's grave. How did you let me go through with it? I defiled the remains of my wife, my daughters, all for nothing. Not for nothing. It was for the good of the town. Newspapers are calling us ignorant and uncivilized, saying we believe in vampires. We've disgraced ourselves. It is unfortunate. Leave me, doctor. Leave me with my misery. Scene 9, Chestnut Hill Cemetery, Halloween, 2013. George lived in sorrow until 1922. So the ritual didn't work? Mercy was not a vampire. The people just didn't understand the disease. They were afraid, and they acted out of panic. But their ritual had an unintended result. Opening the body and burning the organs released Mercy's spirit, dooming her to wander sad and alone for all time. Lena is cut off by a bad coughing fit. Ha! Spooky ending. Hey, are you okay? Lena doesn't answer. She solemnly approaches the grave and leaves her L bracelet on top. I'm going to leave something for Mercy, too. Ben places his plastic vampire teeth on the grave. Rob leaves his Iron Man mask. As Amy approaches to leave her 1980s studded bracelet, she notices the name on the grave. Mercy L. Brown. Amy gasped. L! She spins around, but the mysterious girl in white has disappeared. With a loud burst of thunder, rain begins to fall as the three friends stand in a stunned silence above the grave of Mercy Lena Brown.